Yvette, have you finished The Cottage? Have you gone to The Cottage?
Yes, I finished it yesterday.
Okay, don't tell me because I just started it.
Oh, okay.
He did.
Oh, well, I have seen The Cottage, and I'm excited, Brianna, that you're watching it.
I'm so excited.
Hello, and welcome to Spooky Sips, where we put our love of horror movies into a podcast and sip some spirits along the way. I'm one of your hosts, Yvette, here with my co-hosts, Laura and Brianna.
Hello.
Hey. All right, y'all. We're a little tired.
We are. We cannot stop yawning.
We are sick. We are going through home renovations. We are starting new jobs. There's a lot.
We're going through perimenopause.
We're going through perimenopause. Okay. There is a lot.
There's a lot happening right now
for us. So
what's happening in our body?
We are tired.
Yeah.
But we are here. So
we are.
But Brianna couldn't give us a break with the movie choice.
Okay, so listen. Here's why.
I blame you.
Yeah.
I have a lot to say about this movie.
I'm sure you do.
Laura was there to witness my reaction. And that was the second time I saw it. And it was as equally of a giant reaction.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been a hot minute since we've done like a serious, heavy horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
We've been doing like a lot of like fun throwbacks and current ones. But this is like.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Like Laura and I were saying, it's like, Hereditary, like how that's a very like somber, heavy film.
I feel like this had very, very Hereditary vibes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. To me. Yep.
So we decided, well, also we did a poll on our Instagram about how gross it was. And we asked people if they could guess and nobody guessed it. So I was like, either we thought it was worse than others or people just haven't seen this. But we watched Bring Her Back. It's very recent. It came out last year, 2025. And it's a movie about these two kids. Well, they're older teenagers that, their father passes away and they need a foster placement. And there's a woman that would like to take them in. And at first she just wanted the girl, but she decided to take the boy, Andy. And we quickly find out she's got another kid there, Ollie.
Mm-hmm.
And her daughter has passed away. We learned that very early on. And we learned that she was also blind, as is Piper, the other girl, the sister.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the movie.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. And the foster mom is a counselor named Laura, or a former counselor named Laura.
Which
I would have to mention.
Loves it.
I know. I would just like to say I am nothing like her. Right.
Okay, so we did a collab pretty recently with another podcast called Skip or Scream Podcast.
Mm-hmm. And
they talked about being like a character apologist. Like, I stand for this character even though other people don't. I am 100% a Laura apologist. I have a lot of like,
what?
Yeah, I do. I know. We'll get into it, but that's where we're starting.
I have some psych insight into Laura as well. So I have
some like heart insight into
Laura.
Yeah. I think we're going to have a good discussion about her. Mm-hmm. For sure. Mm-hmm.
So the movie starts strong. Where
I have to ask, the strong start, was this part of the movie company or was this part of the movie where it shows a creepy little fetus on the ground and then it says, "This is not a cult"? Was that part of the movie or was that like the movie company's intro?
That's such a good question because I felt like it was a company intro, but then I was like, oh, well, no. Then once it started again. So I actually don't know.
Huh.
Wait, let me just look up the company that did.
Yeah, just look it up.
Because while you're looking it up, let me express my thoughts. So first, it's very unsettling because it's like this fetus that like clearly should not be viable outside the womb, but it's outside of a womb, and it's like very unsettling. And then the text says, "This is not a cult," and I just said out loud, if you ever have to say it's not a cult, it's a cult.
It's very likely a cult.
Like, I've never, had a group of friends where I've been hanging out and I've had to clarify with someone, oh, by the way, this is not a cult, because we're not a cult.
Yeah.
No, that's part of the movie. That's not a name of a production company.
Okay. Okay.
Because then we get thrown in, and it feels like a VHS film. Like it feels like old school, and it's wild. It's kind of hard to tell exactly what's going on.
I hated it.
There's just like, yeah.
I loved it because I was like, because like I don't know, like I think maybe I was yearning for like a genuine horror, and like this was
got
a
it, babe.
horror. Like
Yeah.
So there's this group that's in this room, and it's like an old naked guy, a woman, a younger woman, another person, and somehow yeah, it's like a group of people,
and they're speaking Russian.
and they're speaking Russian. And then all of a sudden they start hanging one of the people, and she's like flailing because she's being hung by her neck, like by a noose.
Yeah.
And then the other person has this like mark on her face that as the girl is flailing, or the person is flailing, that mark, this red mark, gets bigger.
And just the style of the footage, the way the woman is kind of in this, it almost looks like a chalk circle or a circle of white paint or something. And just the creepy old naked man. Yeah. He's not even old, but just the creepy naked man.
No, he is old. Yeah. Like he's, yeah.
But it's not even about that. It's about like just his weird naked belly. Like
because I think anytime you have someone naked in a situation where that doesn't make sense, it feels off.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right? Like, okay.
And it just instantly freaked me out.
No, yeah. 2 minutes in, and I was like, oh God, oh no. What are we watching?
Yeah. But then it changes gears. So then we move from that, and now we meet the girl, Piper.
Yeah.
And so Piper is blind, and it's pretty obvious she's blind because of the way her eye movements go.
Yeah, it's an actual condition. I don't remember the name.
Yeah. And so the actress herself is blind, right? Yeah.
Yes. They knew they wanted someone who actually was visually impaired. So the actress's name is Sora Wong. This is her first time acting.
Wild.
Amazing.
Which, like, I can't believe this is like a first movie.
I saw that like her mom saw it in like a Facebook.
Like on Facebook.
Like a casting call.
Yeah.
She was phenomenal.
Yeah, she was good.
I would have never guessed that she wasn't doing had been doing this, you know.
But like her character Piper in the show you can tell she doesn't want to be different from the others. And so she's trying to fit in. So she like goes and she's like approaching this group of mean girls, but she doesn't use her cane because she doesn't, want to appear different. But just based off of her eye movements and the way her eyes are, she is different. It's very obvious to the girls. And so they're just awful.
Oh, they're so mean.
Yeah, they're just mean.
And they're just mean to her, and they're mocking her, even though she's just trying to be like, oh, are you guys going to like go hang out after? And she's just trying to be friends with them. And they're so mean to her.
And her brother Andy kind of sees this and comes in and saves, in quotes, saves her. And she's like annoyed. She's like, oh, get out of here. But, he's like, all right, let's go home.
I love their relationship.
Me too.
Yeah.
Because even though they totally do that sibling thing where they just like insult each other and get annoyed with each other, but also they love each other so much.
Yeah.
He wants to protect her and wants to be there for her, and she very much loves him and, relies on him. And it's so incredibly sweet, their relationship.
Yeah. Yeah. And you see it really early on. Like, with that first scene, you like kind of completely understand their relationship.
So they're at home.
Yeah, they go home.
And someone's in the shower. And Andy kind of knocks on the door and is like, Dad, open up. And it's locked. And we hear like the panic. And Piper's like, what's going on? And she runs to go get him a knife, brings it to him. They like jimmy the lock open. And he fell out of the shower. Their dad, we know it's their dad. He fell out of the shower and had thrown up. and was just kind of like dead
on the floor.
He had like a head wound, but he was just laying on the floor dead.
And the shower is just running in the background.
Yeah.
And because Piper is visually impaired, I think they say that she can like see shadows
and
shapes.
And it's
shapes.
We get to see what she sees a lot in the movie. So it's like shadows and shapes and light.
But she's, you know, what's going on? What's happening? But Andy, her brother, is just, he's kind of frozen.
Oh, yeah, completely frozen.
And it's just kind of like those scene with the people in the circle. Something about it is so raw and graphic.
Yeah, it's very visceral.
It was so upsetting.
Yeah. No, it was.
Oh.
So then it cuts.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Piper and Andy are going to foster mom. And it's clear from the beginning, like, this foster mom, she at first makes some excuse like, oh, I've had a problem with like quote unquote bad kids before.
But that's important because we learn that Andy does have something.
Andy does have a past
on his file. Like, again, in quotes, like he has something that she was like, I don't work with troubled kids, which is wild because then when you meet Ollie, it's like, well, that's not true. But so, and she really did just want Laura at first, or sorry, that's her. She wanted Piper. And they really had to be like, no, because they make it clear that Andy is 3 months away from turning 18 and he will be applying for guardianship. So this is just a short-term hold, but they did not want to be separated.
Yeah.
And
but like when they first go into Laura's home, like it was almost kind of funny, I guess, a little bit, just how much Laura is like not even really acknowledging Andy. Like she goes to Piper, she's like, I'm so glad you're here. And she's like, oh, hi, you. And then like she like says his name wrong a couple of times. And like clearly she just, her sights were set on adopting Piper and that's all that she cared about.
Yeah, she's like, oh my God, let's all take a picture together. And she just stands in front of Andy. So he's not in the selfie.
Yes.
But Andy notices that the rugs are taped down and they had that. And so he says, did you do this for Piper? And she was like, no, my daughter is blind. And then they're like, oh, where is she? And she's like, oh, she passed.
Yeah.
And so then they get their rooms. And again, Piper gets Kathy her old room and it's so cute, right? It's like this
Kathy's the daughter that had passed.
Beautifully adorable room. And then Andy gets like the storage closet upstairs with like,
but also it's like bed. The room is nice, but it still has like Kathy's name and all of her stuff. So it's
nothing has changed.
That's not, I think, a great situation to come into.
Exactly. Like that room is not for Piper. That room is for Kathy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and we also then, when they're getting introduced to this new home, we meet Ollie because I think Laura gets a call from the social worker. The social worker is Heather?
Oh, I completely forgot her
name.
It
was like Wendy.
Oh, Wendy.
Wendy. Okay, yeah.
Where Heather? So anyway, she gets a call from Wendy, and so she goes to take it. And so then Andy and Piper go outside, but when they go outside, they accidentally let the cat out. Which this is a thing where the subtitles kind of gave it away because we don't actually learn the cat's name until much later in the movie, and it's a weird name. And
it's Junk Man.
Oh yeah, Drunk Man.
Junk Man.
And it is Australian. We should say it is an Australian.
Oh yes, this movie is Australian.
Not that means I understand what his name is, but I was like, maybe it's an Australian thing. I don't know.
Yeah,
I kind of like it though, because like I mean, my cat, my one cat was rescued from a dumpster. So like, you know, the name Junkman.
No, it's fitting for a cat.
Yeah.
But we kind of like hear this sound. They go out to look and we hear this sound. And the backyard has this really giant pool that's empty. And, you know, Andy is like, whoa, be careful, Piper. And he approaches it and he sees this little kid in like a little white tank top and shorts, just like strangling like
He's like,
hurting.
not hugging in a nice way. Like
he's
hugging
like
is in like
compressing
gripping
him. Yeah.
the cat.
Mm-hmm.
And Laura breaks out. She comes out and she's like, "Oh, come here." And it's interesting because she has this very like gentle way of talking where, especially when she's talking to other people, she's very like, "Okay, darling, it's okay." Like, even she's like, "All right, darling, it's okay. Go back inside." And she's very like gentle. And we learned that she was a counselor, and that kind of makes sense because she almost has these two different sides. And we already start seeing that. But she goes down, she gets the cat, she brings Ollie inside.
And here's the thing, I feel like in those moments when she is soothing to the kids, even when she's soothing to them when she is engaged in egregious acts of violence, which will happen later, but I feel that calm way of speaking is genuine.
Yes, I do
Something
too.
about it. It's not like she's putting on a fake, oh, like poor baby dear. Like she genuinely is being comforting. So she's such a complex character to me that I do see, Brianna, your point about that you don't hate her because I
have a lot of opinions on why it's that way.
Yeah.
And
I think
we'll get to that.
It's genuine empathy that she has, which is weird when you know then what she's going to do, but like it's genuine empathy.
Yeah.
I think. So anyway.
So she's measuring the kids because she want, like, when you write on the door their height, their name, and we see Kathy's. And so she measures Piper, and then she wants to measure Ollie, and then she measures Andy. One of the things that Andy and Piper do is they have this thing where they say grapefruit, like they ask it. And it's when they need to know, are you telling the truth? So if they're not sure about something, they say grapefruit. Yeah, I'm grapefruit. And one of the things that happens in this scene is that Piper asks, what does Ollie look like? And Andy's like, yeah, he's cute. He's
smiling at you or something.
Yeah, he's smiling at you. And that's a lie. But then Piper asks what his hair is like. And Laura interrupts and she's like, oh, it's curly. It's red and curly. And that is not Ollie's hair. He has this shaved little buzz cut of brown hair. And then Andy and Laura exchange this look where it's like their little secret. And it's a weird moment because you're like,
it's weird.
Why would she say that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was very confused at that at first. Like, why are you kind of playing this trick on Piper?
Yeah.
But it at the time seemed harmless-ish.
Yeah. Odd, but harmless. Maybe.
But yeah. Then Laura's being like very shady with Andy. So she goes to him in his room and she's like accusing him of being very defensive, and she sneaks on his phone.
Not even sneaks. She just fully grabs it and starts reading his messages.
Yeah.
And he does react violently. He gets really upset and kind of
gets in her face.
Gets in her face. He doesn't actually touch her, but he gets upset.
Yeah.
And we learned that he had been talking shit about Ollie, and he was like, yeah, he's a fucking weirdo. And Laura
is.
Yeah.
His eyes are really weird too. Ollie's eyes are really like something is wrong.
Like, something's wrong with Ollie. Like something's off. Like, because I think then the next day, or like very quickly, we go to the funeral.
Yes.
Right. And so the people who go are Laura, Andy, and Piper. And then she goes in and she's like, hey, Ollie, we're going to go run errands. Like, you'll be okay, right? And then she locks him in the room.
Yes.
And she 10, maybe? Years old?
Yeah, I would say.
And she also, we should say, when she had introduced him to the kids, she had explained that he's selectively mute.
Yeah.
So we've never heard Ollie talk.
No. Or like really seen him like emote.
Yes,
he's
exactly.
It's
just
a very just blank
shell.
We had seen Andy was like peeking out and he saw Laura and Ollie go to the greenhouse, and it just seemed weird. But then he goes to bed. But then he wakes up, and there's two things that happen when Andy sleeps.
Mm-hmm.
One, the amount of drool that this boy has
That's a lot of drool.
is obscene. And they never explain that part.
No. Yeah.
Like, why is this boy drooling
like a
buckets
lot
out of his face? Like, it's absurd. But anyway, so he wakes up and he's just got all this drool, and that already, like, I was like, oh, gross. But then he woke up and he realized, oh, I wet the bed. And so he goes and, like, he washes his sheets. But then I had been thinking, well, this is the day of his dad's funeral. This, yes, he's 17. He's almost 18. But this is, like, extreme trauma, a situation happening. Okay, yeah, you wet the bed. That's not that big of a deal. It's really not.
Yeah.
But it's just important to note.
Yes.
So they're at the funeral.
It's just weird.
It's weird. So Piper and Andy are up there, and Piper's like, what does he look like? And Andy won't look at his dad. Yeah. And he just tells her, like, yeah, he's good. He looks good. He's peaceful. He's fine. Like,
and then they show us that Andy gets this flashback to when Piper was giving CPR on the dad. And this part really was like, I was worried for you, Yvette, because at first I thought she was eating his face.
That's what it looked like because of the blood.
All the blood and the vomit. Like,
but she was giving him CPR, but he had thrown up. And so his mouth and face was covered, with blood and.
Yeah.
And she was screaming while trying to do CPR. And
Yeah. And so, again, not hard to believe that maybe Andy's having a hard time looking,
But Laura is like, no, first she goes up by herself to the dad and she snips part of his hair.
Yeah.
And then, like, she's just inserting herself when she doesn't need to. And she's like, no, Andy, this is tradition. Tradition? Is that what she says?
A custom.
A custom.
Yes.
She's like, you gotta look at your dad. It'll help you heal. You have to kiss him.
And Piper finds out that he lied, even though she asked grapefruit.
Yes.
And he said yes. And you can tell that's a big deal for her that, like, you lied.
Like, some trust has been broken there.
So yeah, she like bullies him into giving him a kiss. And when he kisses his forehead, she's like, no, his mouth. Now his mouth. Yeah. It's a custom. And he just won't, right? So she does. She leans down and kisses the dad on the lips. So it's just a very weird, like, vibe. But they're on the way home and she's like, what are you guys doing? Like, this is great. A funeral is a celebration. Right? And like maybe of like a life lost peacefully at the right time. That could be a celebration. What happened here is not.
Right.
And so she's like, what do you guys do for fun? And Andy's like, I get hammered. And she's like, all right, then let's get hammered.
Let's get hammered.
And I asked Laura, I was like, I think the drinking age there is 18.
Oh, I didn't even think to check.
Still doesn't make what happens okay. That's still an inappropriate, like,
right.
But I was like, well, at least that makes a little,
No, that's true. Because in the US, it's 21.
Because we learned that he has drank before, and like if it's 18, then like.
Yeah, that's a little less. I was thinking about it here, where the drinking age is 21, where it's like that would be just so wild. I mean, it's still inappropriate, but like,
and we never learned Piper's actual age. We know Kathy was 12, and they seem very similar. So I would say she's somewhere between 12 and 14.
Yeah,
I think a little older.
She seems a little older to me. I kind of feel like she seemed like 14, 15.
Yeah. Like that, because we do know that there is a gap between. So if he's 17, so we do know there's a little gap. So yeah.
Oh, and also, just because of the graphic nature of it, while they're at the funeral, something does happen with Ollie. We do see this flash where Ollie was in his room, but he didn't want to be in his room. So he is banging at the glass to get out. And then he just smashes through, just gashes his hand on the glass as he smashes himself out and just goes to hang out with the chickens, or what does he do?
Yeah, he goes out and he tries to get in the greenhouse.
Okay.
But there's a lock, and that's why there's then a big spray of blood that we'll later see. But then he goes over to the chickens and he's like, he seems like he wants the chickens.
Trying to like reach in through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, something's up with Ollie.
So then they come back and Laura just check Ollie's door and it's quiet. So no one knows Ollie got out. And we will later see Ollie watching them inside from the outside. So Ollie's still outside.
Yep.
And they do some drinking. And I don't know, it's weird because like, again, I don't know. There's so many inappropriate, blurred lines and moments in this. But this is one of the moments where like they are all together, the three of them, and it's good.
In their grief, I feel like.
Yeah, like Laura, Piper, and Andy. She's including Andy just as much as Piper. They're having fun. The music is loud. They're laughing. They're having a good time. Yes, she's getting them drunk. And she herself is drunk. And that's inappropriate. But it is the first time that like they're a little unit.
Yeah. So we should talk about what we're sipping on.
Oh, yeah.
So we're not actually all sipping on this because some of us are sick. Some of us are old. Some of us are tired.
Because like we mentioned, it's been
I have a migraine, you guys. It's rough over here for us right now.
I did have this earlier in the day before we started recording. So it counts. So what they sip on is they play this game where you think there's a number. Was it between 1 and 10 or 1 and 7?
1 and 10.
1 and 10.
The number was 7 that day.
Okay. So you think of a number between 1 and 7, and then you say it, and if the person guess.
You say it at the same time, like you shout it out together.
And so if the person guesses the correct number that you were going to say, then you have to take a drink. So they do shots of whiskey, and then they also switch and sometimes do shots of vodka.
Well, I love this because they are drinking whiskey, and she asks Piper if she wants a drink. And so Piper tries the whiskey and she hates it. She was like, I can't believe you guys drink this. And Laura says, well, I'm more of a vodka slut myself.
Yeah.
And so she offers vodka to Piper because I think she thinks she'll like that better. She does. And then there's just like cute little montage of them dancing and hanging out.
Then this is what I wrote down. So then like Piper eventually like kind of passes out. And then Laura and Andy have this back-to-back heart-to-heart.
Yeah.
Because it's clear that they both kind of want to talk about their grief, but and this is kind of where Laura, I think, is actually kind of a decent therapist.
No, this was the moment where I think you got to see her as a counselor.
Because she's like, I can tell you want to talk about this. If it's easier, let's not look at each other. Yeah. So then they put their chairs so that they're back to back, and then they're each able to she's able to talk about her daughter that had passed. He's able to talk about his dad and how his dad had actually been abusive to him, and they're able to just share and do some. I guess start the process of healing, even though,
well, and
there's a lot to go.
In my opinion, and I especially got this watching it the second time, I think this is one of the most meaningful moments in the film for you to understand what's happening, because he asks, how did you cope after the funeral? And this moment, this actress, you guys, I love her so much. I love this actress, but the way that the cinematography, the way the film it is so cool, because she's like, I didn't. And she goes in and explains how her grief feels. And it's just a beautiful description of loss. So yeah, it's this very
and
moment.
I would say it's very insightful, because she basically did my psych for me. Because in summary, that she didn't ever cope with her grief.
Yeah.
She didn't have the skills, or didn't go through any coping for it. So this is what came of it.
Yeah.
And then things got weird again.
Yep.
Yeah. You can never have too good of a moment in this movie.
I really
Don't
have
let
to
you
say,
rest.
watching it, because this was my second watch, was so like things made so much more sense. So I know neither of you probably want to ever watch this movie again, but if you do, or listeners, the second watch through makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I don't know how you did it twice, to be honest with you.
No.
Here's the thing. I just need some time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just need some time before I can move forward with this movie again. But yeah, so we then see that Andy has also fallen asleep.
Mm-hmm.
And so Laura goes to check on him and to make sure he's asleep. And then she goes into the bathroom and she gets this like a plastic.
It's like a measuring cup.
Like a measuring cup.
A liquid measuring cup.
Mm-hmm.
She puts it on the floor in the bathroom. And I was like, oh God.
Yeah.
What's happening?
Mm-hmm.
And she squats over it.
Yep.
She bees into it.
Yeah. And then she takes it to Andy's room.
Mm-hmm.
We realize that Andy hasn't actually been wetting the bed. She is pouring it.
She's been wetting the bed
onto him.
She's been wetting his
Andy.
bed.
Which is, like, she can just use water,
No, it's got to be believable.
And then she uses his face to unlock his phone.
Oh my gosh, she like opens his eyes
and
to unlock the phone.
She deletes the photos of Ollie.
Mm-hmm.
But she hears something, so she gets up on the window and she sees that Ollie is outside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then the next morning, Laura is gonna take Piper on like a girls' shopping day, whatever. But she mentions to Piper, and you can see it's very calculated. She's putting these like wedges in between Piper and her brother, like these seeds of doubt and distrust between Piper and her brother. And she tells Piper that, yeah, your brother got really aggressive last night.
And she's like, I don't think he's doing very well.
Yeah, he's not doing very well, which is so sad because I was just so mad for him. I was so mad for him this whole movie.
Yeah.
Because I was like, he finally like got to he's been hiding this secret because he never has told Piper of this abuse because he's trying to protect her. Because the dad, okay, so we do learn.
Because we didn't even talk about this because this was what happened when they were sitting back to back. We learned Andy's history with his dad.
Yeah, and so Andy's dad married Piper's mom. So Andy and Piper are step siblings. But we also learned that Andy's dad had been abusive to him, very, very abusive to him, like traumatically abusive to him. But he never did it to Piper. And so in Andy's quest to protect Piper, he never told her of the abuse because he wanted to protect that relationship she had with him.
And we should say the reason that he talks about this is because he's talking about how like his dad always favored Piper.
Mm-hmm.
And Laura says, is that why you hit her?
Yes.
And he kind of avoids the question and he talks about how he was abused. And also, it's important to remember that every time his dad abused him, he went into the bathroom and turned the shower on so Piper and her mom couldn't hear him screaming. So he was abused as the shower was on in the background. So we now have heard two things where we're like, okay, he did something to Piper, but we still don't know the story. But as they're gone, come back to the day, he's like, okay, well, why is this kid locked in his room? Like he's banging across on the door. So he jimmies the lock to Ollie's room and Andy lets Ollie out.
And here's the thing. He's not letting him out to be a punk. He's like, hey, kid, you're probably hungry. You want some lunch?
He's going to feed him.
Yeah. Well, I think he's even like, oh, like, was this on accident? Like, did you get locked in? Like, I don't think he fully is like,
he doesn't even
I'm going to break you out.
No, it's not like that.
This is what makes me this is what I think gets my emotions so riled up on this movie is that he is such a sweet boy and she's a sweet girl. And I just, boils my blood. It gets me so mad what happens.
Yeah.
So what happens is he's at the counter and Andy is cutting some cantaloupe and Ollie is like doing this little hand movement that he looks like he's writing. And so he's like, oh, do you want to write? So he gives him a pad and paper.
Mm-hmm.
And then he feeds him a piece of cantaloupe with the knife. And he's like, okay, careful.
Well, he's like, Laura's going to be mad if you make a mess. Like, let me get you a plate. You can't just like eat it from the knife, kid.
So he bends down and to get a plate and we hear a sound.
Guys.
And as a second time viewer, I knew and it didn't make it any better.
Yeah. No.
I can't talk about it.
Okay, I'll talk about it. Okay.
Yeah.
He's eating the knife. He is eating the knife. Sharp side pointed up.
Yep.
And just chomping into his gum line on his top gum as he's biting into it. His teeth are going everywhere.
Teeth flailing about.
The sound,
you guys.
I watched this movie with headphones on.
Oh,
that was a mistake.
And he's freaking out and he's trying to get the knife, but Ollie's got like a strong grip. Like
because again, Ollie, like we've got no emotions. Like he has one mission and it's to hurt himself with this knife now.
Yes.
Like that's all he wants to do.
And
so
basically, he gets out.
Yeah. Well, he's like, okay, like I'm going to take you to the hospital then. Like I need to take you somewhere.
Yeah, because Andy's like, oh my God, what are you, like, Andy's panicking. So he takes the knife away and then he's like, we got to take you to the hospital. So Andy takes Ollie and is like, well, we got to go. But you can see they're about to cross this white line.
That we saw in the Russian video, a very similar styled line.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, I think maybe a little bit later, we do get this like wide shot of the property of Laura's house where there is a white circle all around her house.
Mm-hmm.
But Ollie starts panicking. Like he doesn't want
fully like feet down. Like I will not pass this line for a second.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And once he gets past the line, his body it feels like it's internally imploding. Like it's like
first it's like like a seizure kind of thing.
Yes.
Like he starts having this like. But then his stomach, if anyone has seen Alien, that's what I thought of. Because then you just you see something moving inside his stomach where it's like, oh my God, something's going to pop out. Yeah.
It's almost like
something.
His skin is melting too or something.
Yeah. And he's just screaming too, like Ollie. Like this, again, the sound that he's making.
And then he finally, because he's outside of the circle, he says, help me.
Mm-hmm.
These are the first
sounds
words.
Different. Like it's
different than the screaming. Like this is the first. Like wait, who was that just said that? That's not the boy that's been here this whole time.
Mm-hmm. And as he's begging, Laura drives up.
Yeah, that bitch.
And she's like, "What are you doing?" And she's panicking, and she takes Ollie back inside. She rushes him back inside the house.
Mm-hmm.
And then, Piper's screaming like, what happened? And Andy's back in the house trying to be like, I don't know what to do. Like, and he looks down and on the paper that's now covered in blood, it says bird.
Yeah.
So Ollie had written out the word bird.
Which at this point doesn't mean anything. Right. Really. Right. I mean, I was wondering, I was like, did I miss a bird somewhere that we were supposed to pay attention to? Like, we don't know what this means.
But so also like the subtlety in this scene where so much of this movie, I think, goes into like the caretaker. Like Laura has been the caretaker of, oh God, what's her name? Christy? What's her name?
Oh, her daughter.
The daughter. Kathy.
Yeah, Kathy. Mm-hmm.
Kathy. And Elle wants to be the caretaker. And then like Andy is the caretaker of Piper. But then in this moment, when Andy is just at this loss and he feels so bad because he's like blaming himself for what's happening to Ollie. Mm-hmm. And Piper is just holding him and protecting him. And I just felt like that was so significant just to show that their love was like very, very mutual,
mm-hmm. No, that was like a very sweet moment between them.
Mm-hmm.
So Ollie is in the room. Because she brings him in, she locks the door.
Yeah, he's like on the bed.
He's on the bed. He's still screaming. Mm-hmm. And she turns on, Laura turns on the VHS tape. It looks very familiar, like the one we've seen before. And so she's watching it, and you realize she's watching it as almost an instructional video.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because she's watching it, and then she's repeating. You see someone take one of the people, and they're like drawing these like circles and stuff on their heads, and she starts doing it to Ollie, who at this point again had started to sound like not the previous version we had seen.
Because like he's talking, and you can tell all of a sudden he's like, "Who are you? Where
am I?
Like this person has never been in this home before. He's never met Laura before. He's very confused.
Yeah.
Yep. And so she's like blasting music because at this point, Andy and Piper are outside the door saying like, what's going on? Like, can we come in? Like, what's going on? So like the pressure's on, but she goes through the whole video and Ollie goes back.
Well, she goes through the whole video, including all the circles on the head and including feeding Ollie the snippet of the dad's hair,
which she does in front of Piper.
Yes,
because she opens the door. She brings Piper in and she yells at Andy, like, "Are you like? Why are you breaking into my room?" Like she's clearly blaming him for what just happened. And as she's talking to Piper, she's feeding him her dad's hair. Yeah,
very upsetting.
So much of this movie is so upsetting.
So I think the next important moment is when he's showering, right?
Yes, Andy's showering. Yeah.
So we've noticed that Andy doesn't really shower. He used a faucet outside. He turns the water on, but he doesn't do it. But Laura's like, "You need to go shower. Like you're gross. Go shower." And
but also, I feel like she's a little bit like pushing.
She's setting it up.
100%.
Like she's trying 100%. To trigger him. Like, don't you think a shower would be good?
Right. And so he's in there and he's clothed. At least I got the feeling that like he's doing that because he needs to feel protected and he needs to feel like if he has to run out, he can. Like, I think he's so scared that he needs like an easy out and it feels comforting.
Yeah.
You know, you can just take over the psych segment if you want.
Yeah, I would like to. I would actually like to. All of my years and hours of therapy.
Dr. Richard Nygaard has
right.
Dr. Richard Nygaard that I see 3 times a week. But then he hears something and it's his dad's voice.
Yeah.
And then it's a glass shower.
It's like a foggy like glass, so you just see like a figure.
And he like sees his dad. And what does he tell him about the rain?
He says she'll die in the rain, which freaks Andy out. So he falls.
Yep.
Back on his head.
Yeah.
And he's out. He's gone. And he had to go to the hospital because he had a concussion.
Wakes up in the hospital.
So while he's in the hospital, Laura is watching old home videos to try and because she can't sleep. And so Piper comes into Laura's room because she hears it. And she's like, "Oh, are you watching like video? You can't sleep. I can't sleep either." And she's like, "Well, are you watching videos of Kathy?" And Laura's like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Oh, well, can we keep watching them?" And so Laura turns back on the volume and we see in the video, it's like a kid's birthday party, a pool party. And she's like describing Kathy with like this long brown hair and, she's cute and having fun. But we also see a little boy named Ollie and he's got curly red hair. It is not the Ollie we have seen.
Nope.
Not the same kid.
It is the Ollie she described to Piper.
But not the Ollie we've seen.
Nope.
And so Laura made sure at the hospital to tell him that like he was hallucinating and that he's been wetting the bed. Like she's really setting it up for like, this kid is having a breakdown. Like he's not okay. I don't think he's safe around Piper. Like she's really trying to get it.
She's setting up her case that like he won't be able to take custody of her.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I
or
think
even stay in the house. Like, I think she's wanting it like he needs to leave now and never get her.
And she's also telling Piper, like, oh, he just like he needs to rest. Like he doesn't want anyone reaching out.
Oh, yeah, he doesn't want visitors.
Yeah, we see her send a text like, hey, I know Laura said you don't want to talk to anyone, but I'm just checking in. So like she's furthering that divide. Like,
well, and she had like even before this the second time that she had like poured her pee onto Andy, she had made sure that Piper saw Laura catch him, like, oh, you've pissed the bed.
Yeah.
Like, so that like she's been doing this for a while. Oh, but then also too, when she visits Andy, not only has she been like putting these thoughts into Piper's head and like the medical staff's, but she like is she's talking to Andy about his dad and about his dad's death. And she says something about when I killed him. And at first, so Brianna and I watched this together, and it was such a subtle little line because she's talking about Andy's dad.
Because she's talking about his death, because she's asking Andy, like, when you saw him in the shower, was he lying down like when I killed him? And he goes, what?
And I turned,
goes, was he lying down?
And she didn't say the when I killed him part.
And she
or like when I killed him. And it was so subtle because Brianna and I watched it together, and I was like, did she just admit to killing the dad? Like, that was so subtle, but she did. So if you ever would watch this again, Yvette, you have to look for that because she said it. It's very subtle.
And you'll understand why.
Yeah. And so now we go back to the house because Andy is hospitalized. We get for like at least a day or so. Like he's going to be there for a second.
Yeah, for a little bit, yeah.
And so the one thing he asks, it's like, okay, fine. Like, I know that you don't believe me or whatever, but like, please just keep Piper inside. Like, I got this warning from my dad.
Crazy raining.
I know it sounds crazy, but keep her inside. And so the very next scene we get is Laura taking Piper outside, and they're just like running around in the rain. Next scene,
she was saying that her daughter loved the rain too, that it was her favorite.
Oh yeah, she's putting Piper in her daughter's old sweaters, and it's very clear that she is trying to turn Piper into her dead daughter.
Well, because they go in the greenhouse.
Yes,
and then they go into the greenhouse.
Yes, she's like, okay, I have something I want to like share with you, or something I want to show you. And the first thing is her sweater. She's like, this was her favorite sweater. She wore it all the time. And then she like puts her hair back, and she's like, oh, and she also loved wearing her hair back to keep her like hair like out of, and so it's very clear what's happening here. And then she tells Piper like, oh, and if you want, you can start calling me mom. And Piper's kind of like, okay, like I think Laura works for now, but like, okay, maybe. And then Ollie comes in. So she hears someone in the background, and she's like, oh, don't worry, that's just Ollie. And she's like, I have to show you one more thing. So they go further into the greenhouse, and you see a fridge. Like the kind of fridge people keep in like their garage, you know, like one of those like
like it opens from the top.
Yeah,
like it's like a a freezer
or freezer. Yeah, like a deep freezer kind of thing.
A deep freezer. Yes.
Yeah, and she's like, I just want to show you one more thing, and so she like guides her hand inside, and she's like feeling. She's like, what? Like, oh, like it's cold. Like, what is this? And she's like, oh, like it's just meat. And we look over, and like Ollie is like has his little head like poking over the freezer too, and we see that it's Kathy's body.
It's just Kathy's preserved dead body.
Yeah.
It's important to remember too, in the scene where she was talking about losing Kathy, that was so like, she ended by saying like, I just want to hear her call me mom one more time. That's all I want. And so when she asks Piper, you're like, we think she's trying to make Piper remind her of her daughter calling her mom, you know?
Yeah. Or just be her daughter.
Right.
Like basically.
Yeah.
Okay. So I know Ollie is creepy as fuck. And if any of our listeners just like look up this movie or see like the poster or previews for this movie, you're going to see the little boy with the creepy bloodshot eyes or bloody eyeballs, like whatever. But also, sometimes he was kind of cute.
He's
like
so
when
cute.
When he's like peeking over the freezer at the dead body and he's like, I want to eat it.
Yeah, he's like a creature. He's like a little guy.
He's like a little creature.
I kind of was like, aw.
No. Also, just shout out to that actor. Hold on, I wrote his name. Jonah. It's Jonah Wren Phillips, who, okay, second fun fact, is the real son of the dad. So like the actor that plays Piper and Andy's dad, that's his son.
Oh, that's fun.
In it. But he played like that was him the entire time. They even like the directors offered like we could bring in kind of like a double, especially once we get to the end where there's a lot more prosthetics involved. Like we could definitely switch it out. But he was game. He wanted to do the whole thing. So that was him the entire time. Like that was that little boy actor was doing all of this stuff.
That's amazing.
He honestly was so good. I'm excited to see where this actor goes as he grows up because he was good. He was very, very good. Yes.
No, yeah.
So at this point, we're kind of down to it. In fact, this was when I asked Laura, we paused it because we ordered food. And I was like, okay, listen. I was like, we need to pause because once we're at this point, we can't keep pausing. We got to finish our house. We took a little break.
Oh, yeah. You got to keep going.
But so the setup is Andy's in the hospital. Piper's at home. Ollie's not doing well.
We do then see a video.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so the video is, so we see, that's the setup. And then we see Laura, I think, is again watching a video, or we just then see the video where they're showing this ritual again. And this is what the key points of what happens in the ritual. You have to like mimic death.
Oh, yeah. It has like subtitles. Like it has like steps in the video.
It has to be the same way. Yeah, you have to mimic it.
First, you mimic the death, and then you take the soul from the old body, aka eat parts of them.
Eat it.
And then you purge into the new, aka vomit into the new.
But it's like you're literally vomiting like their blood. And goo.
Yeah. Right. Their blood and body goo. So now we know, like, okay, that's what she's doing. You're going to have to take the old body and purge it into the new body to make the new body have the old body's personality.
Yeah. So we know that Piper needs to drown.
Yes.
And then Ollie has to eat Kathy and throw her up into Piper.
Yes, because Kathy had died by drowning. So that's why, yes, Piper has to drown.
Okay, now at this point, we're going to pause from the plot and we're going to chat about what do we think? Because we know that Ollie was her nephew. Now,
he isn't.
Well,
or no, I'm sorry. Ollie, the name Ollie.
Redheaded Ollie.
Yeah, redheaded Ollie.
We don't fully know who this body is. But are we thinking that she did a test run? And that, like, why did she choose, did she just need a vessel? Like, how did you interpret it? Like, at first I almost thought, because once we learned the whole setup, I was like, oh, maybe she wanted to try it first with someone else.
Right.
So she her nephew and this kid. And she's going to let that be the next one, or was she just needing a vessel to be the
yeah, see, I took it as she needs a vessel. And like they handed her these two kids, so my thought was like, oh, this is probably just another kid who was in foster care, and
and we learned he wasn't
doing something. So
we haven't learned that yet, but yes, okay.
So see, I actually don't agree. Because I at first thought like maybe it was like a test run. Like maybe what had happened was her nephew, redheaded Ollie, died. And then she like kidnapped this boy and like somehow purged Ollie's soul into this boy. And this boy became Ollie. But then she talks about it as though this boy who she's calling Ollie, who we learn is not Ollie, that she calls him an angel, and that he needs to be the one to do this ritual. He needs to be the one to eat from her daughter and then purge it into Piper. So I think, I don't know how to explain it, but I think something about Ollie dying, and then maybe she found this boy, and like she attributes this boy being an angel because he like assumed the personality of Ollie. I don't know.
Okay. All right. So what happened?
Moving on.
All right, moving on.
Well, no, because we will learn.
I mean, yeah, we'll know. Yeah.
About, because I was wondering, like, if you thought the same thing I thought.
Right.
But we will learn a little bit more information.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
So is this when she makes Piper go to the rec center?
Because
well, first
Andy is, because Andy comes back. So, and she's pissed, Laura. Yeah. Like, she's like talking about, it's like, oh, you're literally having a mental breakdown and they're sending you home. Like, she's pissed that he's coming back. But he comes back, and she finds him in Piper's room because he just goes in to like check in and like say goodnight, tuck her in, you know, like she's not awake, but he's in her room. And so that's when we see that after Andy has gone to bed, we see Laura walk in. And like, you know, it's like, okay, like what is she doing? She walks into Piper's room and she just like smacks Piper. And I thought she stabbed her.
I thought she stabbed her too. Yeah.
That's what I thought had happened. Like, I thought she was going to stab her. But then we see that like because Piper wakes up and like panics, and we see the next morning that she has just a giant black eye.
And it's so jarring because Laura has been so gentle to Piper.
Well, and before Laura goes in and punches Piper in the eye, she breaks into Andy's room and she sprays herself with his Axe body spray.
Yes. Important note.
Because again, Piper is blind. And so all of a sudden, Piper gets this sharp shooting pain in her eyeball and wakes up, and she smells her brother. So what is she going to assume?
Yeah.
So the next day, Andy comes in and he's like, "What's wrong?" And she was like, "Show him, love." And she turns Piper around and she's got this massive eye. And he's like, "Piper, what happened?" And Laura's trying to say, like, "We know that it was you." And he's like, "Shut up, Piper. What happened?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "I don't know. I smelled you." Yeah. And it's so sad because it's like Andy is befuddled. He's like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, it's so like, oh.
Yeah.
So then Piper gets sent to the rec center for the day. She's going to go play.
Because Andy has a full, like they like fully fight.
Oh yeah. He gets really aggressive.
Yeah. Right. Like they're like fighting.
Right.
Because he's like, Ollie's outside and the rain is covering the windows, but he can tell that something's wrong. And he's like, what is wrong with Ollie? Like, he's like so done. And he's like, what's wrong with Ollie? So he goes and takes a picture because he's like, something is wrong here. And so Laura tries to grab the phone, and that's when they get like a full physical altercation. And so it ends with Andy punching the wall next to Laura.
And Piper's
just only
Piper's screaming. Yeah.
And then I'm thinking, just like in my role, I'm like, oh my gosh, so now there's this evidence that Andy has punched the wall, that he's aggressive. Like, this is not going to be good.
Yep. So all of this like plays out. He tries to get Piper to leave with him, but she doesn't. He
drives off.
So he angrily drives off, and we see her go to Wendy's office. Like, he's like, I need to talk to Wendy right now.
Yeah, so he goes to Wendy's office, and so Wendy is the social worker who's like in charge of like the DCFS work or whatever. And so when he's waiting for Wendy to come out to meet with him, he sees this poster, and this poster is for a missing child named Connor Bird. And the picture matches none other than the little boy they've been calling Ollie.
But like when he was normal and cute.
When he was normal.
Like when he was like, you know it's him, but he has hair and he looks healthy. Like, but it's him. Yeah. You're like, that is him.
Yeah.
Yep.
So then back at the house. He takes the poster. And then back at the house, I think Laura starts to also panic because she realizes he's probably going to go do something.
Yeah. So she takes Piper to the rec center and drops her off to go play. Like, they call it goal ball. I don't really know. She's playing her little sport. Like, and when she gets back to the house, we see that like it's destroyed.
This is when I wrote Ollie is losing it in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Like everything is destroyed. He's just like ravenous beast.
She goes around the corner and he's like holding a thing of milk, just like pouring it down his face. And it's just, his eyes are like huge and red and like, and his skin looks weird and he's got a little belly. Like his
belly's all distended.
Yeah.
And he goes and he bites her. And it's like
a deep bite.
A bad bite on her wrist.
Yeah.
It's her upper arm. It's like where her elbow is. Yeah. Like it's not quite her wrist, but it's like her upper arm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then this is again where I'm like, I can't. I'm going to pass the buck. I can tolerate a lot of stuff. This next scene, I actually vomited a little bit. Like I can't, I hated this so much.
I can't believe you guys had food waiting for you after this. So
we sure did.
We turn back to Ollie, who again, everything is just trashed. And so the next thing that just looks super yummy to him is the kitchen counter.
And keep in mind, his mouth is fucked from the knife shit.
Yeah, like it's been bad. And so he just goes and he starts chowing down on this wood countertop. Like
this is the most horrific thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And the noise.
Yeah. And then like, as if like that's not bad enough, like seeing him do this, he goes and he bites the skin off of his arm and you just see like the flesh pull up.
Nope.
As he's, it is an insane scene.
Okay. I know I've talked about my nightmares on this podcast before, and I do have a recurring nightmare where there's this shadowy figure following me. But the other recurring nightmare that I have, and it is a common thing, so I don't think I'm that crazy, but it's like where my teeth crumble out of my mouth.
That's a thing.
I have that nightmare every once in a while.
No, that's like a thing, I guess.
But watching him bite down with his bloody mouth and the teeth falling, and he didn't even care. He was just like, I will destroy my mouth.
It was chomping like on this table. Couldn't feel anything because there was no physical reaction to the pain. Like
no
it's
reaction.
Like he wasn't in there.
You know, about a month ago, I was trying to decorate for Christmas, and I had a string of Christmas lights out on the table because I was going to put them up. Or actually, no, I was using them for a photo shoot. For Spooky Sips, for some drinks. And so I had them set out, and I was then like washing a dish in the sink, and I'm washing a dish, and all of a sudden I hear this pop. So I was like, what the hell was that? So I look over. It was because my derpy cat Derek, decided to chomp down on a Christmas light bulb.
Yeah.
Just to eat it. And this is what
he's an orange cat, if that helps you understand.
and so then I look over and he's just like blah, 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 like spitting it out, and I was like, oh my god. But so like I don't think he didn't actually swallow any of it. His mouth wasn't cut. He's fine, but still, like this scene, I think maybe just gave me PTSD because I was in a panic for days while we waited to see if he was going to have internal bleeding from eating a light bulb.
Yeah.
So Andy convinces Wendy to come back.
Yes. Because he's like, you know, like he's like, no, like this is the Ollie that has been in the room. Like he's trying to explain everything. And here's where I got annoyed is that when they were there was like a security guard or a police officer there in the room with them when they were talking about it. But when they drive back to the house, it's just Wendy.
Well, because I will say this, unfortunately, I think tracks because you've got a kid with a past of violence that is not trustworthy and a employee that was there for, we learned, 20 years. So I think that Wendy is like, I am obligated to check this out, but I 100% know everything is fine. And if it's not, it's Andy that's the problem.
Well,
so she probably, like, even the officer probably could have been like, do you want me to come? And she was probably like, nah, it's just Laura. We know her. She's fine.
Mm-hmm. It's just like when there's a missing child.
I know.
And maybe this is different in Australia versus the US. And, US state by state is very different. But also, I work a lot with child services like DCFS or CPS or whatever you call them in your state. And they are very, very overworked. And so I know I have had to make some pretty solid, scary claims of things happening. And yeah, it's just a little social worker that goes to investigate. They don't have backup. They don't have resources. Like they just don't have it.
And I think she really is going because it's her friend, not because she thinks.
No.
And really, his case is so flimsy. Like, he could have walked in and seen that and been like, I'm going to pretend that she's kidnapped this kid. Like,
right. No, for sure.
To them, he probably seems.
I mean, I think this kind of just goes back to the being mad on behalf of Andy, where it's like, I think like the movie did a really good job at like, I just kept being so angry because I believed that he would get screwed,
And he is such a good kid.
Yeah. Well, and part of why she goes is because she was going to call and Andy, like Wendy was going to call. And Andy was like, no, she could hurt Piper. And that was the moment where she was like, okay, maybe this is legit. So when they're on their way, it's Wendy and Andy driving back. He leaves a voicemail for Piper. And it's so sweet and genuine and concerned and loving. And you can tell that Wendy is like, oh shit, like maybe something is going on, because Andy talks about how the abuse was true. He was like, Pipe, he really did do that to me. And I tried to keep it from you because he wasn't that way with you. And I wanted to protect you. And he was like, and when I was 8, I hit you. Because he talks about how like his dad never took it out on you. And it's a very just genuine, authentic heart pour of love.
And it's like you were a kid, dude. And it's not to say that, an older brother hitting a younger sibling.
He's 8. That happened.
Also, he was a child too. And he was also a child who had been abused and was trying to figure out how to get love and give love. And he regretted it. And people make mistakes. And it's just always so heartbreaking.
So we see, though, that Laura is listening to the voicemail instead. Yeah. Because she has Piper's phone. And she panics because, you guys, the house is like insane.
Because at the very end of the voicemail, you heard Wendy say like, okay, we'll get this sorted out. And so she realizes Wendy's
coming.
So she's got this giant gaping wound that's just bleeding. But, we get some music again and
cleaning montage,
and she's just doing whatever she can. We also see, and this I didn't notice the first time I watch it, she pours out his creatine powder because he works out a lot, Andy. And we're like, oh, she was like poisoning him or something, or doping him.
See, I suspected that the whole time.
Like maybe she was making it so he would sleep really heavily. Like it was something like that. We get the vibe that like, oh, she put shit in his powder. Like, and so she pretends that she just got out of the shower. She turns the music down. She opens the door. It's Wendy and Andy.
No, and just Wendy.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Because Wendy told Andy to stay in the car, but he went in the backyard.
Yep.
So yeah, she's pretending like she's showered and that everything is fine. But Wendy can tell, like,
she's starting to figure it out.
She's a little hyper.
Yeah. Like at first she's like, oh, I get it. You have to come check because he said all these things. Like, first she's going along with it. And it's like, okay, yeah, everything's fine, I guess.
And the house doesn't look great, but she really does try to hide the biggest things. Like her mirror is broken. She makes her avoid that. And then this part I thought was interesting because when they go into Kathy's room, she tries to explain away why she didn't change it. Because I think we realize that is weird, right? And
it's a huge red flag.
And she's like, well, no, she just loved it so much. She wanted it this way. And we're like,
yeah.
And
then she notices that she's bleeding. Oh, that Laura's bleeding. Because like now she's getting these like drops on her hand.
Oh, because she's walking her out and she's like, are you okay? And we hear something in the back because now we hear Andy in the backyard trying to break into the greenhouse. He like was trying to break the lock.
Yeah.
And I think he's screaming or something.
Because he broke the lock and he saw Ollie
like eating the daughter's frozen corpse.
Yeah.
Yeah, because before they had come back, Ollie was like, I think Ollie had been I don't know, like not cooperating or whatever, but Laura was like drawing like blood circles, like with her hand that had been bleeding. She was drawing like blood circles to calm him. And then he like crawled into the freezer coffin with Kathy.
Yeah.
So she's hearing Andy be like, Wendy!
Yeah, like, Wendy, you need to come outside right now.
And Laura snaps.
Yep.
She's like, you have to understand why I did this. It was the only way I could get her back.
Because she's like, she's saying, she's like, we can get her back, Wendy. I found a way. We can get Kathy back. Yeah. And she's, I don't know. God, this actress, you guys, just like the complexity, because she's panicking, but she's also like begging. And then she is realizing that it's not going to work. And she's finally, Wendy gets away from her and Laura's just writhing on the ground, screaming like, and this is one of those moments where like in horror movies, sometimes the person that has been wronged, in this case, Andy, never gets their justice. And you're like, shit, she's not going to see Ollie. But Wendy does see Ollie.
Yep.
And it's like, yes, you don't need any more proof than that.
So they're like, okay, no, like we gotta go. Let's go. So they are running back to Wendy's car because they gotta go. Gotta go get help. Gotta do something about this. And then bam, Laura hits them with her car. Just fully runs over Wendy.
And she like, it throws Andy.
Yeah, so like she like fully runs over Wendy and like side swipes, I feel like, kind of Andy. And we also need to talk about the fact that Wendy, her car, and I only bring this up because we need to talk about it, because Wendy had a very lime green sweater and it matched her very lime green car.
And her phone case later on.
Yeah, she just loved
that girl was coordinated.
That has nothing to do with the scene, but I keep thinking about the lime green.
Because it was a cute sweater, so it was a cute car.
So she just runs over Wendy, and Wendy's just dead.
Yeah.
Just face mush.
Because we see her face.
Yeah. Gone. And Andy is struggling, but still like he's like trying to breathe, but
very hurt.
His head is like in a pothole that has filled with water because it's been raining. So he's like half kind of above the water.
And Laura gets out and she walks over. She checks that Wendy's dead. She walks over to Andy and she just very gently grabs his head, turns it so it's face down, and just holds it down.
Yeah. Drowns in this muddy puddle. And she's saying things like, they're there, it's okay.
Yeah.
So the next thing we see...
This is a very disturbing movie.
It is. So the next thing we see is that she's at the rec center picking up Piper. Yeah. And one of the coaches was like, I need to talk to you about her black eye. And she's like, not now.
Yeah.
Which again, big red flag.
And Piper can tell that Laura's not okay. And she's like, do you have my phone?
Yeah.
So they get back to the house. And this was one of my favorite moments of like, I just want a poster of it weirdly. I don't know why. I appreciated this moment. It's like a bird's eye view. So we're up on the second floor and we see Piper standing there, and there are just these streaks of blood where you can tell that Wendy or that
And, like,
Laura dragged the
body matter.
Yeah, like body goo.
Yeah.
And Piper's standing there and she's calling out Andy's name.
And she hears someone calling out her name, and she thinks it's Andy.
It sounds like Andy
because it sounds like him.
Ollie like has this weird way of mimicking Andy, and he's calling for her.
And it's so weird because I think what's beautiful about it is that like we can see the scene that she cannot see.
Yeah.
And I just love the way that they did that because we got to see both perspectives. And I thought that was so cool.
Yeah. So she walks upstairs to who she thinks is Andy calling her name. And she's approaching, you know, kind of like Andy, like, who is this? And so she goes to feel his face because you can get something she kind of does before, right? She's feeling where she is. And so she feels his head.
This is when I just started to cry.
Yeah. So like she knows it's not Andy. And Laura comes in and she's like, wait, like, who is this? And she says, oh, it's Ollie. And that's when she asks him to describe Ollie again. Like, what color is Ollie's hair again? She says it's red. Like, she's like, red curly hair. You know, like, what? Let's move away from that. And at this point, you can see it starts to click for Piper that something is wrong. Something's off. She's been lying about something, at least.
And Laura's trying to be like, I want to take you out here. We need to go do something. Like she's trying to like distract.
And so she's trying to get her to go outside. And as she's going out, Piper's just like, again, has this like, yeah, I'm in danger moment. Something is wrong. Like she's clearly lying. And so she runs away. Like she runs back in the house instead of going outside. And she locks herself in the bathroom.
Sorry, no. This is when I started crying.
Okay, so you guys, I honestly don't know that I've ever cried this hard in a horror movie. I cried for like 20 minutes straight. Like I mean, I could not stop. Like, but one of the things that's so sad is that I think there's a part of you as the viewer that's like, I think Andy is still alive.
Right? No, there is where it's like, okay, maybe something.
Maybe.
And she like, her foot knocks into a body.
And she goes and she's like feeling his face.
It's
and
the same thing she had to do with her dad. So it's very like.
And like she goes down to his mouth and feels his braces, which is how she realizes that it's Andy. And she's like, oh, yeah.
She's shaking him. She's checking his heart. Like.
Well, like the way they show like his hand, Andy's hand, like it does. It's like, okay, maybe he'll come back. Like it as the viewer, that's what I kept thinking. Like maybe he's still there. Like maybe he'll come back. Maybe it'll be okay. But we also hear Laura's approaching, and she's approaching with keys. So you know she's about to come open the door.
Yep. And keep in mind, it's been crazy Australia raining the whole time.
Yeah.
So part of that is that the pool is filled.
Yes.
Yeah.
So then, Laura confesses. She's like, you got to understand, Piper. She says, I've put a beautiful angel inside of Ollie. And he's going to put Kathy into you.
Because Piper's like, what are you going to do to me? Like,
and then after Piper asked that, then the way she's just like, I'm going to drown you in the pool now.
Yeah.
Oh, God. And it's like, oh, shit.
So they're in the pool. And then Ollie is kind of there in the background.
Well, first there's like an epic fight. Like Piper puts up a fight.
She does.
Like,
she does. Yeah.
But Ollie is just there. And like he has this big belly.
His belly is huge.
Distended belly.
Belly.
Like I'm trying to think of a way to describe it. Kind of like I'm thinking like Dr. Seuss, the Lorax or what are the
the Lorax, yeah.
Like them, like where it's like skinny little bodies and then just giant belly. Kind of like that.
Yeah. So Ollie's just waiting.
Yeah. So they're in the pool. And she's got a hold on her. She's got Piper down there. And it's
the Piper's fighting.
Piper is fighting, but at this point it's kind of like, oh shit.
She's not winning at this point.
She's not winning.
Yeah.
And then we're kind of seeing like Kathy at the pool. And we see that what had happened is Kathy had like fallen and hit her head and fallen in the pool. So it's this juxtaposing moment, because the moment with Piper, the pool is disgusting. It's muddy. It's raining. It's dark. It's sad. Like, and then there's Kathy in the summer in a well-lit pool with pretty water and drowning. We see Laura jump in and grab her and like, oh, I just was crying so hard. I had to like get a hold of myself.
And then Piper, again, she's trying to just like scream out for help, but she finally just says like, Mom. Stop. Like she calls out and she says Mom to try to get her to stop, or just like as a cry for help, like Mom, help me at this point.
And then she's like, I'm so sorry.
Like she lets her be at the surface.
I think you can tell that she's like, oh my God, what am I doing?
Because it really is like she's almost been in this trance where
like, I have to get
this was what
back.
she has to do.
Like, and who cares what I have to do? This is we'll get Kathy back.
That Laura, before she lost Kathy, was there and was like, oh my God, wait.
Yeah.
And so Piper gets away.
She runs away.
She's having this moment, so she runs away.
And this is the other moment that's so sad, is because she's running and she's running and she's running. And then we see Ollie kind of following her.
He sees her,
So he's at the, structure of the house still. And Piper runs down in the street and there's a car and they get out and they are like, oh my God. And this is when I started crying so hard I couldn't even talk, because like Ollie is watching her get rescued. And that little part of him that's still there.
Because he also has seen now this poster.
Oh, he's holding
He sees this poster of himself. He knows who he is.
Yeah. And he just starts throwing up.
Purging.
The purging. Purging is a good way to describe it.
It's so sad.
And the music for the ending scenes was... like the music for this movie was phenomenal, because it was right in every moment that it was very different throughout, but it was right. And then
he kind of goes after her. All he does, like he's purging, he's like going after her, and he drags himself over the line. And then like you see eventually like rescue teams or people find him too.
Flashlights.
Yeah, because his belly is gone.
His belly is gone, and he is looking rough.
Oh, because he's in physical agony.
The people are like, who are you, love? Like, who are you? And he's like, Connor Bird. He speaks and he knows who he is, and it's like, oh, that poor kid is gonna be fucked up the rest of his life.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, they all are. Like, holy shit.
Yeah. Well. There's only 2 left alive.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And then like this moment, I don't know. I think of this moment all the time. I watched this months ago and I still think of it all. I think it is maybe the most beautiful ending of a horror movie I have ever seen in my entire life. Where like she goes and gets Kathy from the freezer.
Laura does, yeah.
And she like pulls at her arm. So that it's bleeding profusely.
Yeah. And they're just in the middle of the pool.
Which the pool has this circle shape in the bottom. So just pattern. So they're kind of...
We saw her paint it earlier. Yeah. She had gone and
so it's kind of very much like the whole rest of the movie. And while we're seeing this happen, we're also getting shots of Piper is getting to hear that voicemail.
Yeah.
That Andy had left for her.
And she just holds her daughter as she bleeds out
in the pool.
Yeah.
Ugh. Brutal.
Yeah.
Damn it, Brianna.
Yeah. Why do you do this to us?
Because it's
No, it was
so
good.
good.
No,
It was good. It was
like,
good.
you know, we talk about this a lot, like our different preferences, but for me, like this is why I think that horror is the best category because it has so much like diversity and different kinds, like serious, funny, but like this kind of movie when it just fucking gets your soul and like gets in there and scares the shit out of it and rearranges it, like that's what horror is for.
Yeah.
It can get at these really complex issues.
And it can help us talk about things that we don't know how to talk about.
Exactly. I was just going to say that like
sure.
people don't talk about because they're hard to talk about. But this allows us, it gives us ways to talk about them. But also disgusting.
Oh.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
All right. Well, part of why I chose this, and then Yvette made the point when she was watching it, was like, this is going to be one hell of a psych segment.
Oh, God.
I mean, I think I said that like maybe 15 minutes into watching it because, like, I mean, I was like, okay, I've seen like 20 red flags with this setup.
Yeah. I like was talking to one of my friends about this movie and 20 minutes had passed and I was like, okay, I should stop talking about this movie. So, you know, I can get carried away. But Laura, I'm very excited to hear where you're going to take us. Just remember that these are not real people. And while their grief was, they were not. And just like that, Laura is not a real doctor, but she is a real psychologist. So Laura, take us away on this tragic yet beautiful, moving piece of art.
Man, this one was a doozy. And so I went to a topic that we have touched on before, but I'm approaching it from a different point of view. So we have talked about grief before on this show. And there's other things happening, but I really think the key, because I also thought about like possibly talking about dependency within relationships, because there kind of was a lot of where it might seem originally that like, you know, Kathy was dependent on Laura, but really it was she that was dependent on Kathy. And that's why the death was so big. And kind of the same versus like Piper and Andy. It might have seemed originally that Piper was dependent on Andy, but really he was dependent on her. So I thought about stuff like that, but then I thought, no, let's go to the core of this movie is grief. And I think I want to approach the psych a little bit more of a conversation tonight. And it's brought about through something that Laura said in this little back-to-back heart-to-heart that they had, where grief is a huge thing to go through. Most people will go through it at some point. And it's brutal and it's huge. But what if you don't ever heal from it? Like, she didn't cope with it. She didn't heal. And it's, especially when you're in the heart of it, in the beginning of it, it seems like you never will. And that's a very normal thing to think. Like, you never can cope, you never can heal because it's the biggest thing in the world and it's the worst thing in the world. How could you possibly ever? And then what if you just don't? Like, what would that...
Did they say what the timeline was? Like, is this a month, a year? They didn't say it, right?
They didn't say. No. I'm guessing a couple of years.
Yeah.
But yeah, they didn't really say. I mean, when you think about like how old Laura looks versus like her kid would have been, what, 12? I'm thinking several years. But yeah, like what would happen if these profound moments happen and then people just didn't heal from them? Like, what would that mean for your life? And probably kind of ending up like what happened with Laura. So then I thought, okay, let's pick out just for me, I feel like there's 2 grief stories of note in this movie. Yes, many of the characters are going through stuff, but really, to me, this movie is about Laura and Andy.
Yeah. I agree.
Yes, Piper's a big character, but really, it's about Laura and Andy.
I agree.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I feel like they both are dealing with this very complex grief. And in fact, they do have a diagnosable thing, but I feel like they approach it in very different ways. So I'm also now realizing I'm old as shit. And here's how I'm realizing this. Because I know that complex grief is a diagnosis. But I'm like, why is this not in my, so I have my like pocketbook DSM and I was looking through that and I was like, it's not in there. I can't find it, but I know it's a thing. And then I'm looking through my like big boy DSM. Well, you guys, it's because I have the DSM-5, but not the DSM-5 TR.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
So my DSM-5 is outdated. It was published in 2013, which is actually a long time ago.
Yeah, it's 12 years ago.
13 years ago. But so when mine was published, there was this diagnosis proposition. It's like something we want to look at further. It's not like a codable thing yet in the DSM, but something that they're like, we should look at this further. Mm-hmm. And it was at the time called, wait, hold on. Persistent complex bereavement disorder. Mm. They moved that out of the let's look at it further, and in the DSM-5, it's now in the actual diagnosis section, but they changed the title to also be called now prolonged grief disorder. And I think there was a lot of debate on this because grief is such a unique personal thing, and it can be so huge that that's not necessarily pathological. If you're really struggling with something and it's taking a long time and it's causing a lot of distress, that doesn't make it, pathological. It makes you a human.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But it can become a problem when certain things happen. So like when it was this persistent complex bereavement disorder, it's really that someone who you've had a close relationship with passes away. And then since the death, you have this just persistent yearning and longing for the person, which again is normal. But that it affects your behavior, which then can affect your relationships with other people. And it's this very intense sorrow and pain. But then you also get this preoccupation with the deceased where you like really can't think of anything but them, which again is normal to a degree. Mm-hmm. And if this happens for a while, that's okay. And grief is kind of like a wave. Like you're going to have ups and downs. There's going to be bouts of where it's heightened or less, and that's normal. But then also like you're preoccupied with the circumstances of their death. So like Laura was like preoccupied with like that Kathy died by drowning. And so she was like fixated on that. Mm-hmm. And that since then, like since their death, you can't accept it. Like you refuse to accept that they're dead, that's when it can become kind of this like pathological thing because it's like bargaining and like finding ways to make it that they're not dead. Well, that's impossible. So right, if you refuse to accept that can cause like major problems.
Like if you keep them in your freezer.
Yes.
Maybe that's not,
Yes. So like you just don't believe that it happened or you just have this total numbness to the loss. You can't have like positive memories about the deceased, which Laura did not have. She did have positive memories about Kathy. This bitterness and anger about the loss. And then just this like avoiding reminders of it. With this, I think is what we see more in Andy. But then it really just like it disrupts your social identity. So like it kind of changes who you are. You are no longer the person that you were before the death happened. You're all about the death. Go ahead.
Because I feel like, especially for Laura, like not only did she lose Kathy, she lost being a mom.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes.
So it feels like she had the the complexity, and it wasn't just the loss of the person, it was the loss of herself as that identity.
Mm-hmm. No, and that's like totally in my notes too. Like where that's a huge part of grief is that it's not you miss the person, but you are not who you lose your identity because your identity is completely dependent on that person being alive. And when that person is alive, then what does that mean for you?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so then like along with that, you just have this desire to still be with the person who has died. You can't trust anyone else since that person has died, like people that are, still alive. You just feel alone and detached from others. And I feel like they alluded to this in the movie, but they didn't really get into the specifics. But it seems like Laura was this well-renowned and known therapist or counselor for 20 years. But then, like, what has she been doing since her daughter died? Like, it seems like she hasn't really had any relationships with anyone.
No, we don't see her see anyone else or do anything else.
Because even at the birthday party, there were a ton of adult and kids there.
Mm-hmm.
Like we get the idea that she had a lot of people in her life.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. But now no one.
Mm-hmm.
Also with this, like, this prolonged grief disorder, the complex bereavement would be that your life is meaningless or that you literally cannot function without that deceased person, which when the deceased person is deceased, that's problematic.
Mm-hmm.
And then just confusion about your role because, like, who are you? Like we were just saying. And then just you won't pursue your own interests and your own life with that person being gone. So that's kind of what the diagnosis would be. But then, like, let's get into, because I feel like both Laura and Andy have this, but they approached it differently. And I think we've talked before about like the stages of grief, like, like the denial, anger, bargaining, blah, blah, blah. And those are not linear stages. So people like get confused about that, but they are things that people who are grieving all go through or usually will go through.
Well, right.
Mm-hmm.
So in that, I feel like they're both stuck in different phases. So Laura, I think, is stuck in the bargaining phase. So
with the devil, yeah.
Yeah. So like she's refusing to accept that Kathy has died. And she's kind of like externalizing her response by trying to change reality. Like, if I do this ritual, I will bring this back. This is kind of this like, sometimes in psychology, we'll call this like this magical thinking that if I do this thing that is impossible will happen. Kind of like what I do sometimes with sports. Like if I wear these certain Bills earrings or whatever, then they will go to the Super Bowl.
Yes.
So, it's this magical thinking. It makes no sense. And yet people do it. Whereas Andy, I think he is more stuck in this denial and depression stage. So it might sometimes seem like he's in the acceptance stage because he's kind of like going with the flow. He's coping. He's doing okay. But I don't think he is. I think it's just that I know sometimes we shit talk on men on this podcast. But I think that he is just, unfortunately, in this society where men are not allowed to express emotions, especially if they're like sadness or love or grief. So he has learned to kind of internalize this and not face it and kind of just pretend it's not happening and like control it by like overprotecting Piper. But
yeah, and he has that added pressure of like, you need to be good for 3 months.
Yes.
Otherwise, you won't be able to bring Piper into your custody. So there's like that added, like, okay, it's 3 months of, good behavior, and I'll put in quotes.
Yes. So it seems like he's accepting, but really he's just stifling. He's just stifling all of these emotions, which just makes it even sadder.
Yeah.
With what happens to him, because I think he is stuck in that phase. So I think neither of them is going through the grief process.
Yeah.
Well.
No. Yeah.
And it's hard because there's no right way to grieve. And it will take people people have to be on their own timeline, but also if you get stuck in these like stages and don't move on, it's not going to lead to any healing.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like both of them are really just trying to control the situation because they experience this like unimaginable situation of no control. Him, first of all, with the abuse, and then with the death. And we never learned what happened with Piper's mom.
No.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which I'm curious about.
Right.
Yeah.
So he is just completely, his way to control an uncontrollable world is just by like restraining himself and just like not letting anything out. Laura's way of doing it, which is actually kind of interesting that, again, back to like gender roles, like he's internalizing, she's externalizing, which normally with men and women, it's kind of the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Because her way of doing it is just like breaking all sorts of like social and legal boundaries. Like, yeah, I'll kidnap kids. I'll kill people. Sure.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, because Brianna, what you were saying, grief takes away your identity, especially when all you know of yourself and your world is through this association with the other person. You're going to do what you have to do to take that identity back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also like, have either of you heard like either in songs or in sayings where people say grief is love, but with nowhere to go?
Mm-hmm. I've heard that.
It's kind of an interesting way to think about it. And it can be problematic because grief is more than just love.
Well, right.
But it's an interesting way to think about like, yeah, grief is kind of this way of keeping that love that you had for someone, but it can become problematic when you have that love still, but you can't find a healthy way of expressing it because that person that you put that love on is not there.
Right.
So there can be healthy ways of then still experiencing that love or like unhealthy ways.
Yeah.
Where you're kind of like detaching yourself from it, but like in unhealthy ways.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I feel like that's kind of the gist of where I was thinking of going with psych.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, any thoughts on the grief or like what you guys think about Laura and Andy and how they handled it?
I mean, I feel like that was a good way to take it, honestly. I hadn't thought about, I mean, I guess like it's like now that you mention it, it's like, oh yeah, they're both going through it. They're just doing it differently. Like, I think that's a really cool way to think about it. So I hadn't really put that together.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and I mean, I think that like, it's obviously about grief, right?
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Like the whole movie. And I think one of the things that's interesting is that like we have so many villains that are villains by circumstance, villains that are evil, villains that are shitty people, like villains that are haunted, like all of that. But I think like she purely is a villain from grief. And I think that they do a good job of trying to show who she was and who she is, because it is like grief changed her and it made it darker. And I think also it's the kind of thing where like, unless you've truly been through something like that, it's so easy to be like, well, I would never do that, or I would never become that way in my grief. But I mean, especially when it's someone that's so connected, a parent, a child, a sibling, a best friend, like whatever the connection is, I think that like it can change you, especially when you don't deal with it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what happened to her is like, she was a villain out of genuine like desperation to get her daughter back. You know?
Yeah. And I feel like she really did show just all these trademarks of like, yeah, she shut everyone else out. And she, instead of being able to bond with or relate to others around her, she was just like, no, if I can't have this one relationship she hyperfixated on, and yes, it was the most important relationship in the world, of course. But she was like, if I can't have that relationship, everything else in the world is done.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And I really appreciate that they did such a good job of showing the like time, because I think that's another thing that until you've been through it, you can't understand, where like she was isolated and in mental anguish and dissolution for so long that like that does change how you see the world. So like Laura 2 months before her daughter died and Laura when Andy moved in, there was so much that happened between that it's easy to be like, I would never do that. But that like mental isolation and pain can literally change your brain and how you like interact with people, you know?
Yeah. And I'd be curious too, because I feel like, of course, also Piper has gone through grief, and her grief is unique to her and her experience as well. Because again, we don't know what happened to her mom. She loved her dad and learns after her dad's death about his abuse of her brother, who she also desperately loved.
Right.
And so she's lost now all of them. And then this mother figure who came in, who was shady instantly. So now I wonder, because we didn't really see much of what was happening to her. She kind of just seemed to accept things, but maybe it's because she wasn't really processing through it yet.
Yeah.
So I'd be curious, like her future life, like how's she going to cope with this going forward?
Oh my God. I don't even know.
So many trust issues.
Yeah. So
I don't even know.
So she's not had good role models for coping with grief or dealing with it. Because everybody goes through it different, but at the same time, like there are definitely warning signs if you're doing it in an unhealthy way.
Yeah.
Which honestly, like, even though I love Andy so much, and I think he would have eventually gotten there. I think eventually he would have been okay and would have been able to like process through it. But I think they both were like not going down very good paths of coping with it.
I agree.
Yeah. So obviously hers was worse. Ours was worse.
I felt so bad for Andy this entire movie. Like,
I know.
Just like,
it's heartbreaking. It really is.
It is. It's just heartbreaking.
Also, I have to say, I haven't loved a lot of this conversation because we keep saying like, oh, well, and then Laura did this. And I'm like, wait, what did I do?
I know, right?
I don't like it.
And then Laura did this terrible thing.
But yeah, so I think we'll just stick with just the grief conversation, because I think that's what we should really take away. At least what I wanted to take away from this movie.
I agree.
No, definitely. Well, I think I talked about some of our fun facts, but I think I probably have a couple more. One is that they did do a test screening of this movie. I also think I try to go to theaters when they do those like mystery movies. I think we've all done it before. I think this was one that they did. Which, can you imagine getting this with absolutely no warning?
No.
Like, so they did do test screenings, and there was one scene that was everyone's favorite or least favorite. They just got the strongest reaction. And it's exactly the one you're thinking of. No, it's the knife.
Yeah.
Yeah. The biting down on the knife. Like they were like, it doesn't matter. It was either everyone's favorite or everyone's least favorite. Like, it's just the strongest reaction.
For some reason, for me, the biting on the counter was worse than the knife. Both were awful.
See, I thought the knife was worse.
The knife was
for me. I don't know.
They were both,
but especially the counter being post knife wounds.
Maybe
that's worse.
They were both awful.
But to do it, I listened to a little bit of the director's commentary, and it's two brothers, Danny and Michael Philip.
Oh yeah, because they did
they did talk to
us. Oh yeah.
So one of them, I couldn't like distinguish their voices to tell which one it was, mentioned that they wanted to get the sound right, to do this. And so he just asked someone like, all right, just bring me a bunch of knives. And so he just started like biting down on knives and recording the sound. And that was part of the sound that they like spliced in.
It does sound like
on metal.
Yeah.
Was just him. And then
he was probably he wasn't biting the sharp part.
No,
he was probably biting the
like just
flat.
like just like
chomping
down like on it.
Butter knife, I hope. Maybe
probably.
No, probably like real ones.
Yeah, just full injury.
But you can bite that without cutting your mouth.
Yeah. But that's how he was like, you can't replicate that sound. Like teeth on a knife.
Yeah.
You just have to do it. So
Thanks,
he did
I
it.
hate it.
For the, child actor. They had a very fake knife, and then they also had like a fake mouth, which I think they used for the countertop too. Like I think they made like a whole guard for him to use, not a real knife. So like for the kid, it was like kind of fun to film.
Yeah.
And then for the counter, which I thought was also fun, the wood was made of chocolate. And so, like, he was just, like, chomping down on it. He was saying, like, yeah, like, we would call, like, cut, and he would just be, like, licking the counter, like, just, like, biting down on it more.
Oh, my God, I love that.
Okay, that makes me feel better.
So
I
had, like, a bunch of chocolate in the middle.
I wish I would have known the fun facts, because then I would have been able to tolerate the scene better.
Yeah, see, I can tell you now. So now if you rewatch it, like I rewatch it, it's like, okay, it's made of chocolate. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, that's a fake knife. Oh, try to get through some of the scenes. The VHS stuff, like the instructions, they used like an actual, I think, like VHS like video because they wanted it to look like it. But like you can't make it super easily, so they like filmed it to actually come out on VHS. It's like how they made it. And I feel like you could tell, like it. Oh yeah. The way
it looks authentic.
Yeah. Okay. And then the last fun fact, which is not something I realized. So I'm wondering if you guys noticed it. Did you notice that during one of the videos, I don't know which one, there's a website?
No.
On the bottom?
No.
So in what they called it on the director's commentary. So I don't know where it is or what scene it's in. But I think if you go back, at one point when she's getting the videos, we realize that she got the videos from a website called blackangeltapes.net.
Oh.
I won't spoil too much about it because when you go to the website, they kind of tell you, they ask that you not. So,
okay.
Go to the website. It's actually pretty fun.
Okay.
Okay, wait, what's it called?
It's called...
But don't tell us, Laura.
I won't.
It's called blackangeltapes.net.
Do I need to do this in incognito?
No, you're good. But we can assume that that's where Laura purchased these tapes. And there's some fun connections to, like, Talk to Me. And some of the other ones. So it's, like, in the same universe.
Yeah. Okay.
If that makes sense. So if you have time, definitely go check it out. It's fun.
Oh.
Okay, I'll wrap up my fun facts with that.
What? And it's like, warning.
That's so cool, though. I
That's
love
fun.
that.
That's fun.
Oh my gosh.
Cute.
Well, I mean, we could probably sit around and talk about this for a lot longer.
Oh, 100%.
Let's get to our ratings, because I will be very interested to hear what you both say. So here on Spooky Sips, we don't do stars. We do sips. So out of 5 sips, how do you rate Bring Her Back?
This is hard because part of me hated this movie, but I kind of loved to hate it. And it gave me very similar vibes as like Hereditary. Like in like just the rawness.
Yeah, like the
heaviness of it.
Graphic. Yeah.
I actually really liked it. And it stuck with me, and I'm mad at it, but in a good way. So, I'm giving it a 4.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, well, I can go next because I was very much on the same lines, which was that as soon as I finished watching it, I was like, I'm so mad that I had to watch it. But also, I'm mad because it was so good. Because what I don't like gore, when it's gore for gore's sake. Where it's just like, oh, like we just want this to be like, like gory so people like the shock, and look away. So clearly the gore was also shocking here, but like it served a purpose, which made it, and it made the movie better, like it made me uncomfortable. It like the movie forced a reaction out of me where it's like, okay, like it was just so well done. So it's still not my personal favorite type of horror. But like originally I was thinking like a 3.5 or like a 3.75, and like that just felt really wrong to give it anything under a 4. So I'm gonna go with a 4 too.
Yeah. I think for me, I mean, it's no surprise that like this is my type of horror
Your choice.
because like for me, when I'm watching a horror movie, I want to be scared. I want to be grossed out in a very fitting way. Like I do not like movies like the other Saws. I like the first, but things like Hostel and Saw, like that's not what I mean by gross and gory. I like it to fit what's happening, but I also need it to have a story. And I love when it helps me understand something more about myself. And for me, this did that. So for me, this is a perfect 5.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, this is like this, because I feel like there's so many horror movies lately, which is amazing, but it's hard because we can never watch them all. But this is one of those ones that in a few years, when people are like, if you could only choose one horror movie, it may not be, but this will at least be in my top running because I think it's a very good whole package horror movie.
It's solid. It's solid.
No, it is. Yeah.
Ugh. All right. Well, next time on Spooky Sips, we are in the season of love.
Yes. Love is in the air.
What is better than a box of chocolates and a good old bloody horror movie for the Valentine's Day? So we are going to be watching the 2001 movie, Valentine. We just looked and it has an 11% on Rotten Tomatoes, so it's going to be a good one.
It's going to be great.
I'm very excited.
I know it's going to be good.
I don't think any of us had even heard of this, so we're all in for quite a surprise. I'm excited. It's going to be great. So if you haven't seen it, get watching with someone that you love. And get sipping, and we'll see you next time on Spooky Sips.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Thank you for listening to Spooky Sips. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you're listening. To stay up to date on all the spooky things we're up to, follow us on Facebook and Instagram at SpookySips_podcast. And if you want to help support the podcast, consider buying us a coffee, or really a cocktail. We are completely independent, so every little bit goes a long way to keeping our podcast running and improving. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.